What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if 2022 is the year that we get the announcement of Wumpa League, the Crash Bandicoot PvP game that's long been rumored to be real and be having worked on and inside of good old Activision. Now, I believe this video will most likely go up after the video I made on Spyro 4, and I think a lot of the things I said there really apply here as well. So if you guys want to watch that or you didn't watch that's definitely there for you to watch. But I really do think they're both in the same boat. Both of them have been long rumored. In fact, Wumpa League was, now not by that name, but by a PvP, like a Crash Bash multiplayer kind of thing. That was actually rumored and talked about before Spyro 4. So that, I guess, just as a little bit of trivia. But both of them have long been rumored. Both of them have pretty much been as close to confirmed as you can get that they're real. So, to me, at least for me, I guess, one of the best things when talking about these two games is that I feel good in the fact that they exist. It's kind of like when I was talking about the Harry Potter game back in the day, years before it was announced as Hogwarts Legacy. I always was very confident that, at the very worst, like, the game's real. Like, the game is definitely going to be shown at some point. The negative thing is just the long delays or pushing it or just not talking about it. That's the tough part. Because I really want this Wumpa League. Like, if it's anything like a modern-day Crash Bash thing, which I feel like it probably is, right? I will be very now, I still want a Crash Bash remake, but I will be very excited for it. So, will it be announced next year? Well, it's long been my conspiracy theory that the game was probably supposed to be announced this year and released this year. In fact, I believe the first rumor for the game said it was supposed to release by 2021. I'm pretty darn sure the first guy that had talked about it had said that. So maybe that got in my head and I just kind of forgot, where it came from, or I Dumbledored it out of my mind. But I'm pretty sure that was said. So I feel like that's kind of correct. Now, this is where the stuff with Spyro that I talked about in the Spyro video, this comes to kind of haunt Wumpa League 2. There's a couple things going against it, okay? Number one is the Activision plan that was to get all of their studios to work on Call of Duty, right? Remember back, I think around like March, April, May, somewhere in that range, there were rumors that at least Toys for Bob, which made Crash 4, they had moved over to help with Call of Duty. And then it was later reported that every single studio and every single Activision employee was moved over from anything they were working on to help on Call of Duty. Not necessarily just Vanguard, but Warzone and anything else regarding Call of Duty. Okay? So that slowed down not just Spyro 4, in my opinion, but also this game. So that announcement, which would then turn into it releasing probably October, November, that is now, that was then, snuffed out. You also have these controversy inside of Activision. I said this at the end of the Spyro video. I'm kind of worried about that. Number one, I want it solved, and I want people just treated fairly. I think that's not the hardest thing to ask for or to even implement. But until it's done, I think the gaming industry at large is going to be heavily against, maybe rightly so, depending on how you view it, against Activision, which really goes against them announcing any new game. Like, if there's this much bad stuff being said about your company and your employees probably aren't very happy, right? All of that stuff going on, well, you may, if you had a game to announce, you may want to push it, a little bit longer until public image starts to improve. Now, that sucks for us in terms of like just wanting the game, and it's tough to talk about, right? Because then you say it like that, and it's like, oh, so you don't care how these people, are treated in the... No, again, like, I want it solved. I think it does impact each other. I think with the image that Activision has, it's, like the Game Awards boycotted them. Like the game... Now, they weren't going to do anything at the Game Awards, but if they were, Jeff Keighley, would have kicked them out of it because of all this behind-the-scenes stuff. So that's just something, I guess, to keep in mind. Now, there was a rumor, it was by a very small Twitter user that talked about how they believe that Crash, or this new game, is going to be announced sometime within January to May of 2022. Now, that is a gigantic range, okay, and not really a good range because that's 5 out of 12 months of the year that it could potentially happen. That's almost as good as what I'm saying, in this video. But take it for what you take it. If you don't want to believe it, that's totally cool. I do believe at the very worst, 2022 is when we get the announcement. It depends on really the behind-the-scenes stuff of, taking out the controversy, but going back to that original rumor of 2021 announcement and also maybe late 2021 release, going back to that and then saying, okay, well, if that was true, what does the everybody moving to Call of Duty thing do? Does that literally eliminate six? So, they did it for around 6 or so months. Nobody was working on their own games. So, do we literally just add 6 months from when it was supposed to happen? Maybe not, because then you would have probably gotten an announcement of Wumpa League already. So, I feel like there was that, and then there was also probably more stuff that happened behind the scenes that pushed it. But I guess what I would personally want would be, announcement first half of the year, release second half of the year. Some of these Crash games normally come out in June. In fact, how they've announced some of them in the past, obviously Crash 4, I believe it was, October? They don't have the longest distance between, and I like this, by the way, they don't have the longest distance between announcement and release. They announce it, and then it's not like it takes 2.5 years from the announcement to get it out to people. They announce it, and it comes out. I mean, Crash Team Racing, I believe, was announced at the Game Awards that year, so December, and then it came out in June, so it came out 6 months later. Even Crash 4, these are short things. So I would imagine if it does get announced anywhere between January and May, let's give that person some, some respect, then I do think October, November makes sense to have the game come out. So hopefully 2022 is not just the year that we hear about this game officially, but also the year that it actually releases, which I think would be really, really cool, especially if somehow 2022 is and I struggle by saying this, is the year where we get not just Wumpa League, but also Spyro 4 in the same year. That would be pretty incredible for a lot of different groups of, people out there and fans, but I don't know. I would not be willing to say that would happen. I don't guarantee anything on this channel for the most part. It just gets me in trouble one way or the other, but I really would struggle to say both of those would release in the same year. But maybe because everything's been pushed and delayed and everybody's been moved off of projects and then moved back. I mean, these things could have ironically, line themselves up where this stuff happens. Definitely possible. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And when this thing is announced, you can bet your bottom dollar I will be covering it a ton on this channel. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my second channel or support us on Patreon or YouTube memberships, links for them all are in the description below. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you all on the next video.